So here's my list of 10 things that are commonly missing in relationships. So if you are in a relationship, see, is your relationship missing some of these things or are you guys good? Or if you want to be in a relationship or you're not in a relationship yet, take notes so you can be preventative versus reactive. Hey there, beautiful people. Welcome. If you are new here, I am Dani Wigfall, your go to relationship coach. I also happen to be a creative artist, mental health therapist, wife, mom, yada yada, the list goes on. We aren't getting into those things right now. Here on my channel, I help you design your remarkable life, grow deeper in love with yourself and possibly someone else. So let's get into it. So let's start with number one, assuming or really not verbalizing our expectations from that other person, right? So we assume certain things. You should know this already. They're this age, they should know this by then, right? But we're not verbalizing or even saying our expectations or even saying our feelings or how something that they did made us feel, or we expected them to kind of know something. We were expecting something from them, but we never ever let them know, right? That is something that's so common. We just assume our partner should know certain things that we've never discussed or that we might have discussed once or twice. So that's one thing that is missing. Are you assuming things about your partner that they should know? Are you expecting them to show up in a way of how you would show up, assuming that they should be you and respond exactly how you respond? No, your partner isn't going to respond exactly how you respond. Also, if you were expecting things intimately, being able to verbalize that to your partner. And I know it's like, oh, they should know this. But no, sometimes people don't know and they might need to know, okay, what do you like? What don't you like? So things of that nature. Don't be scared to talk to your partner or feel like they need to be all of the things, know all of the things without you saying a word. No, if anything, you do want to let your partner know how you're feeling. Let them know some of your expectations so then you guys can have deeper conversations around what that looks like. Sometimes, if you don't tell people what you want, you won't get it because they won't know what you want. And they may want to give you what you want, but because you didn't tell them, you won't get what you want because you didn't ask for it. Number two of something that's missing is communication in order to understand and to love on that person versus defending yourself and fighting that person to get them to understand your point, right? So that's two separate things. A lot of times communication has that defense tone to it, or I'm fighting you. I want you to know this. You need to know this versus I'm communicating with you to understand your point, also to clearly communicate my point, and I'm acting out of love with this. So, no hits below the belt. We aren't talking about things that are diminishing ourselves, but we're figuring out solutions. How can we solve this? If it can even be solved, or if it's something that maybe this is an area we compromise on. Maybe this is an area where we hold some boundaries or some space, or we table it and we come back to it. Let's come back to this. I don't know. We haven't come to a conclusion. We'll come back to this at X date or whatever. It doesn't have to be X date specifically. But yeah, so communication in order to love, be curious, and to understand versus I need to defend myself. I need to be heard. Rah, rah, rah. Number three, a lot of relationships are missing direction. So you have the feelings, you have that we're going on dates and we're having so much fun, but what are you building? What are you building together? What does your relationship mean? When people see your relationship, what type of energy are you giving off? Not that that totally matters, but you can build a foundation that lets off certain energies from your relationship. You can shine a light through your relationship, and it's a beautiful thing. So, what direction are you going in? What are your goals in your relationship? Have y'all had a chance to sit down? Do y'all have relationship meetings or marriage meetings, as I would call them? Where you're sitting down and talking about the goals, talking about financing, talking about intimacy, talking about your spiritual life, all of these different things, right? How are you growing together? What does that look like? What direction are you going in? Or is your relationship just out for the win, out for the taking? day by day, just taking it day by day. We aren't building, we're just living, you know? And there is energy in just living, which is great, but living, but also having some direction, having some vision to help really cement that relationship and to grow a deeper bond, a deeper authenticity and connection to one another. Like, does your relationship make you feel alive and healthy and motivated? Or is it just something that you have because, hey, I've known this person for so long and this is just kind of is what it is, right? Not that doesn't sound that fun, you know. It sounds routine, and as I mentioned before, we want to get out of that routine. We don't want to be stagnant for too long. Routines are great, but when it comes to our relationship, we need to get out of it and spice it up, bring a little change in there. Number 4, when we're with someone for quite some time, we can easily take them for granted. So really showing your appreciation for them in the way that they love to be loved, right? So going in, using that love languages, because you have that tool there. How do they like to be loved? And I want to show that I appreciate them in their love language. So instead of taking them for granted, it's like, oh, this person knows I love them. They know how I feel. I did all that stuff. Taking some time to show them. Be spontaneous. Do something different. Switch it up. You know, that is something that's missing. Sometimes we get very complacent in our relationships. We get very stale in our relationships, and we need to liven it up. We need to brighten it up, and loving on your partner is one of the most beautiful things you can do to do that. So love on them well, not just like stale love. Who wants stale love? Right? Love on them hard, love on them well. And this goes into my next point. Number 5 is that spark. Sometimes relationships are missing that spark, and it doesn't mean that it needs to be all the time and you're going to feel the things all of the time. No, and I'm not talking about butterflies, but that chemistry, that bond of like, we're connected, I want you, this is amazing, we're growing, I love seeing you do this, this is inspiring me, that type of spark, right? So looking for that, looking for ways to continue to build that. Sometimes that may come up if you guys decide to travel, you guys decide to do an activity together. If maybe you do some chores that are outside of what you would normally do. You know, it could be anything, anything. You and your partner know each other very well. So how can you show up for one another in this way? How can you invite a little bit of surprise if your partner is open to it so it's not stale and stagnant? Or it's planned and it's not stale and stagnant, but it's planned with intention. Number 6, telling your partner why they mean so much to you. Not just I love you or I like you or you mean the world to me, but really going in a little bit deeper, getting specific. I love X, Y, and Z about you. This makes me feel this way. I love how you make me feel this way. My goal is to make you feel this way. Those type of conversations, right? So really just loving on them. And kind of these points kind of flow in, but they're just different directions for it. But telling them why, you know, why they mean so much to you. So many times they're like, love you, babes. Okay, bye. Love you, babes. And there's no meaning behind it. It's almost routine and the I love you, right? But what if the I love you looked different and it was intentional and it had meaning and it had specific examples behind it? Now that's some good love right there. Especially when it's backed up with action and it's coming from a genuine place. Not just I'm putting on. This is not performative. This is like I'm pulling up a vulnerable piece of me and I'm sharing that with you because you mean so much to me. Number 7, another thing that's missing in relationship is connecting with other healthy couples. Right? And so having that bond with other people, connecting with other couples, doing double couple things or triple couple things or couple game nights and things like that, you know, really being able to bond and talk about, sometimes depending on how comfortable you are, depending on how safe you feel in these environments, talking about deeper issues. It doesn't have to be super deep, you know, but deeper things, you know, and bouncing ideas off of each other. You create the direction for your relationship. But sometimes it's nice to talk to other people so you know, oh, I'm not the only one experiencing this. Or, ooh, that's a great idea. That might work for me. Or, ooh, that would never work for us. So all of that stuff is good. It's good information and it's good. It's nice to have that type of bond because sometimes when we are the only ones that are the couple, it's hard to see a way forward when we're not in community with other couples. Number 8, prioritizing commitment, vulnerability, and safety. I feel like those things are just, I don't even need to talk on those things. Commitment, committing to that person, right? Really being there with them. Otherwise, you are going to lose that trust. But also diving in deeper emotionally. These are for my people that are emotionally reserved, I will call it. Really diving into your emotions, letting them know, what do you fear? What do you desire? What do you love? What do you hope for? What are you dreaming for? What bothers you? Those inner thoughts, and sometimes the inner thoughts that just stay inner and this kind of buried under, sharing those with your partner. Those moments are beautiful moments of growth and deep connection with the other person. So don't just keep those moments to yourself, speak them out. But sometimes, in order to be vulnerable, that person has to feel safe. So, safety matters. Are you caring for that person's heart? Are you caring for that person's well being? Or is the intention just, well, I feel good when I'm with this person? It's all about me. I. That's very different. So, that commitment, vulnerability, and safety, so important. Number 9. I don't know why I do 9. Like some people do 9, some people do 9. Having a growth mindset in your relationship. Your relationship is not fixed. Like what are areas we want to grow in? What are we building? What do we want to build? But having that growth mindset versus, well, we're stuck in our ways. This is how we do things. We go here for date nights. We talk about these things. When he gets off from work, this. When she gets off from work, this. The kids do this. And it's just very routine. It's getting back into that routine. And when life is so busy, it's easy to fall into that, right? But really breaking that. And it's like, no, how are we growing? How are we stretching? How can we make this happen for our family? Yes, okay, finances may not look like this, but what's another way around we can make this happen? It may look like a trip. Obviously, I love travel because I keep bringing that up as an example, but it may not be a trip. It may be, I don't know, something you want in the home or something you want to experience, and something may be blocking it. I have no idea what. But planning for it versus just accepting, well, this is what it is, or this didn't come in, so we can't have this. No, how can you make it happen or a version of it happen, right? That's the growth mindset. I'm not settling for just the circumstance. I'm figuring out other opportunities where I can create either a similar experience, the same experience, or something that I enjoy even better. You never know, right? But if we're stuck in that scarcity mindset, this is all I have, this is all I know, this is all I got money wise, I can't do it, it's not going to happen. No, never. We're not going to grow from there. Therefore, our relationship isn't going to grow. So you're right. All you will have is those things. You won't get to experience those things. You never know. So many things can flow into your life when you're open to it. So I just want to invite you as couples to be open to new opportunities, even if you can't see it. Logically, it doesn't line up. And that's the same for your individual lives too. Just being open for new opportunities or letting people know this is a desire, or this is a want, or this is a goal, and seeing what happens from that versus looking at the negative or what you don't have, or I'm stuck here, or whatever, fill in the blank. Really pushing that growth mindset in your relationship is also just going to grow that deeper connection with each other. And that's what we want, those deep connections. Not just, well, I can't say we. That's a great thing to have. Not everybody wants deep connections in their relationship. Not everyone wants to be truly seen in their relationship, right? Some people have relationships because like this is what it is. I have my like trophy, I have my status, I have my class. It looks like things are perfect with my relationship, but I don't actually want to be in a relationship. I kind of want an arm piece, or I want something that makes me look better, right? So I'm not talking about those type of things. I'm talking about people that truly want to dive in deep and have relationship, want to be seen, want to be heard in their relationship. That's what I'm talking about. Number 10, and I am guilty of this I'm so sorry. Is being fully present when your partner is talking. Sometimes when our partners are talking, we can go off into our own worlds and our own heads, and because we're used to hearing their voice, right? I apologize. This is also a huge issue for me. And it's not huge. I can't, that's putting a 10 on the two. It's not huge. But I do have those moments where I'll just go off into my own, especially if he's talking for a while, where I would just go off and start thinking about something and I have to bring it back. I have to bring it back. So, really focusing, if that's something you struggle with, like myself, really focusing in on that person and just like, I'm paying attention, I'm focusing in on you. And if your mind wanders, it wanders, but practicing bringing it back when you notice it. So being present in that moment with that person. Sometimes that means you're going to have to put your phone down, tablets down, not think about what do I have to do next? What do I have to do at work? Did I respond to that email? But really listening to what they say. And this is where the active listening comes in, actively listening to them to understand versus Q, I'm thinking about myself, or this thing is bothering me, or whatever, right? So just really being present with your partner when they're speaking. And I'm not saying just like, oh, every single moment, but in a lot of the moments, try your best. Okay, I will be trying my best on my end too, because you don't want to send off the wrong message. And you also don't, it's another way of how we can take our partners for granted and what they're saying, right? And so just being mindful of these things can help us be better partners for our partner and ultimately have a better relationship. Remember, I'm not about having an okay relationship or it's good or it's surviving. We're barely making it out here. No, okay. We are living this amazing relationship that makes us feel alive. It makes us feel healthy. It makes us feel unstoppable. That's what I want, right? Those type of relationships. It's that spark, that chemistry, that fire, all of that good stuff. So, and passion. And sometimes passion looks like, hey, this is a beautiful thing, and sometimes it looks like I really care about you, you're not getting it, so let's find healthy ways to communicate our differences here. Thank you so much for watching my show. Before you click off, smarties, okay, before you click off, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Happy holidays. I'm wishing you an amazing new year and all of the things. It's here, it's here, it's here, okay? And if you decide, hey, I kind of want some relationship coaching, whether you as yourself an individual or as a couple, or you feel like there's things holding you back as to why you're not in a relationship, feel free to book a free consultation. I would love to chat with you. Send me a message or find me at wholeselfwealth.com. See you next Tuesday.